Now you're welcome along to Wednesday Night Rugby. Our rugby coverage, as ever, is with thanks to Vodafone, main sponsor of the Irish rugby team. We all belong to the team of us. Very happy to say Keith Earls is going to join us on Wednesday Night Rugby this evening. He has spent the day at the Moyross Youth Academy today for the launch of the McDonald's Youth Opportunity Ireland programme. So this, I suspect, is very close to his heart. This is a 2-year employment and skills partnership with the Irish Youth Foundation, which will provide €200,000, and that will go to youth organisations across Ireland. So McDonald's Youth Opportunity Ireland will enable these youth organisations to deliver specialised training and mentorship to 2,000 young people by 2023. So Keith Earls, great to speak to you again. Great to have you back on the show. You were at the Moyross Youth Academy for the day.
Yeah, back to where I spent plenty of my days when I was younger. It's completely changed now. It's unbelievable the work they've done here, and and even meeting some of the young lads here, who've come from all walks of life, and they meet up here every day, and they're just trying to better themselves, which is great.
What was it like back in your day?
I tell you, it wasn't as swanky as this now. I tell you, I was down watching the lads playing soccer, and they have a beautiful sports floor and indoor floor, whereas we had a green carpet that was torn up in a couple of places. But it's completely different, and it's a credit to everyone who's drove this.
Are there Keith Earls posters everywhere? Is that how this works?
No, that's something I'm actually going to give out about now. Need to get back here more often, maybe to get myself on the wall.
Would you know or recognise a few of the faces, people maybe working with the foundation at the moment?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's loads down here, and even, it's weird. The kids I would have seen when I was living in Moyross, there were 2 or 3, or even I hung around with their fathers or their uncles or something, you're seeing next generations. But plenty of familiar faces, which is probably made today so much easier,
You're getting old in life when you're seeing people and you're saying, "Oh yeah, I used to know your father."
I know. I met one of the girls here. She used to be down the centre with us, helping us out, and I kind of made her feel old by saying that I had a 10-year-old child. So she wasn't too happy about that.
So is it nice to take a break from Heineken Champions Cup, Exeter, pressure, to have a day like this in the build-up to a big game?
Yeah. It's obviously we train Monday and Tuesday. We have a day off today, and between this and the coffee, it is a great escape. Without taking away from my rugby as well, obviously, which is first and foremost the most important thing. But getting out here isn't really work. I'm here with the lads, and there's a pool table outside and having some good conversations. It's brilliant, really, and just seeing the work that's been done by the foundation. It's incredible.
So I didn't have one of these foundations or community centres to go to in my youth. I don't remember anyway. Like I played for football teams and different things like that. So is it kind of place kids can go to, say, after school or at the weekends, hang around, safe environment, mentored maybe on the side, that kind of a vibe? Is that the plan?
Yeah, exactly. And it's probably because of the area it's in as well. There had been a lot of crime. Just I think people in general just being misled, and obviously, people think they're being discriminated because of where they're from, and it's their own issues as well. But yeah, it's they have a beautiful kitchen here, indoor soccer. The kids come here after school. There's lads outside who are trying to upskill and different jobs. The lads who are doing block lane, they're doing carpentry, they're doing tiling. For when that opportunity does come, that they have the skills to go off and work in building sites or go off and work wherever they're needed. There's some great relationships with the Moyross Youth Academy and a lot of businesses all over Limerick and construction and everything. So it's brilliant for the kids to give them confidence to do it in their own environment down here, and then go onto a building site rather than going straight onto a building site. They're teaching them good habits, getting up at 7:30 in the morning, coming down, doing their toiling, taking a break, just getting them ready really for I suppose for the big world or a different world as well.
Yeah, look, I've no doubt a lot of them go on to do very well, which is brilliant. We last spoke to you in October around the release of your autobiography. Genuinely, a very rare reaction to that in terms of text messages into the show or tweets or comments under the video on YouTube. It really was an extraordinary reaction. Have you tried to put all of that a bit behind you now and draw a line, or does the book still feel very alive and present to you?
Yeah, it's definitely still alive and present. Like the reaction has been incredible, and I suppose that's why I wrote the book, and I'm a bit more at ease about it. Like as I said, I was a bit worried about writing the book, but the response that I had was incredible, and it's still mentioned to me every day. I still get messages and get letters every day, which is incredible. So yeah, I'm delighted with the reaction. I'm delighted the way it went.
What are the more common sentiments?
Just people coming up randomly in the street. People saying how much the book has helped them, how the book, just. It was like one person came up to me and said the book was like, is this Keith Earls book or is it my book? Everything was just, and that's why it was more common than people think as well. And it's just trying to get the people to have that first conversation or get people to understand that everyone struggles really, and some people adapt better. But yeah, it's been a lot of people coming up. Jesus, your story is so like mine, and that's the way I feel. Your stories help me talk to someone, and your stories help my brother, my sister, or anyone. So yeah, it's been incredible, and I don't think I've come down off understanding what it has done for people either.
Well, I said to you in that interview in October, this is going to be your life now. You're going to have people coming up to you, I think, for the next 20, 30 years on the back of that book. How do you find those interactions? Because I'm sure, you could stay and talk to someone for half an hour if they make a revelation to you like that about their own life or about their own struggles. And equally, you probably need to just get the milk and get home to the kids. So how do you find those interactions?
That, people say, I don't want to bother you with your time. I just say your book was amazing and helped me a lot. Then some people might start to open up, and I would just tell them that's great. There's no advice I can give you. I just told my story. I'm not a professional. I'd love to help you, and I suppose all I can do is tell you go talk to a professional, and they'll be able to help you. But usually they're short and sweet, and people just saying thanks very much, really, for telling my story.
Almost a brief moment of connection, and
yeah, exactly,
there we go.
Exactly. It's amazing. Like taps on the shoulder anywhere, and people just say, thanks for writing your book. It's been a great help.
Wow, that's a long way from the guy who was kind of embarrassed. That was your word to make some of the revelations, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's still a bit embarrassed, and the labeling and the bipolar and all that. That kind of sits in my head as well. Maybe it's just me, but people knowing that about me now is quite daunting. But I suppose I just have to get on with it. As you said, it's going to be a part of my life, and just think I've done a good thing rather than, I suppose, a bad thing. Looking at it as a negative, really.
Is it daunting because you're naturally a very private person, or is it that you just don't want to be defined in that way, referred to in that way?
Yeah, exactly. Referred to in that way, but that's what comes with it. There's nothing I can do about it. That's my own issues as well. And there's times during the week it's way worse, and there's times I'm happier than it. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's the constant ups and downs for everyone, really.
In the last number of months, for instance, and you've had your fair share of niggly injuries, it seems, kind of a stop-start season. Does that make your mental health more difficult, or how have you been?
Yeah, it would have years ago, but it's given me a chance to. I look at it now as giving me a chance, happening for a reason, giving me a chance to better myself in some other area. I've obviously the coffee that took off, and doing a lot of stuff now through breath work and meditation and all that, trying to even go further again. So yeah, I've looked at it as a positive, and now that I'm back playing, I'm delighted. But yeah, it has been stop-start, but hopefully I can get a good run in now in the next couple of months.
Remind me of the coffee situation. I know you were interested in it and going into business in it. So what's been happening there?
Yeah, so basically I've opened a coffee roastery in Limerick, and I have a little espresso bar attached to it as well. And yeah, people are coming in buying coffees, and
Good.
I've worked when I was injured. I've worked a full day as a barista inside there, so it's quite unique. It's I suppose it's showing me the world outside of rugby as well, and what's to come. And it's a great thing to keep you, I suppose, nice and grounded as well. Obviously rugby is a unique world that in a couple of whenever this is over for me, that I'm not shocked. I know what has to come.
What's the coffee shop called?
1114 Coffee Roasters.
So what's would you have worn 11 and 14? Is that the logic?
Correct.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Slightly less egotistical than calling it Keith Earls's.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we spoke in October, the November internationals were just ahead of you, and then Six Nations has come and gone. Like, for instance, the opener against Wales, you would have been in line, I think, to be on the bench for that game and hopefully make your 97th appearance, and then injury struck, hamstring injury. Are you very cognizant of that milestone? Is that number 100 just kind of would love to get that boxed off? Is that a big thing for you?
No, it's not. It's not. And it would be nice, but it's not. It's not the main thing. I know I do say in the book as well, it would be great to hit 100, but if I don't hit 100, it's not going to be one things that's going to annoy me for the rest of my life. But yeah, I haven't. Yeah, obviously, even the week at the English game, people are like, "Oh, this should have been your 100 cap," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's like, well, that's just life." Hopefully, even if I went on tour in the summer, I could potentially get to 99 if I played in the 3 tests, So it's just a number. But I tell you, I would have preferred to be lifting a triple crown and being around the lads more than concentrating on 100 caps.
Everything seems like it's in a really good place with Ireland. I noted Andy Farrell after one of the games. I think he was talking about James Lowe, but really he's talking about wingers generally. He was saying he doesn't like tidy wingers. He wants wingers now to come off their wing, get involved in the play. Lowe does it. I think we saw Mac Hansen in that Welsh game. It worked a treat for the Ringrose try. Is that right up your street? Is that music to your ears?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We had certain game plans over the years where a winger had to be a winger, and yeah, it was a great relief. It is a great relief to hear that. Because I suppose that's probably been the downfall of my game, or not downfall of my game, but it's something that I thought would be there naturally. And I've concentrated on my defence a lot more over the years, and I've probably taken away from that side of my game, which hopefully when the lungs come back in the next game or two, that I'll be able to get off the wing like the lads, because there's a lot more running now, and it's a different kind of fitness. So it is. Yeah, the lads are flying it. I think wingers in Ireland in general are absolutely flying it at the moment. So it's great to see.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like when you're seeing Balakoon do his thing in Toulouse, you're thinking, bloody hell, how many wingers are knocking around here? Lads have to get to 100. Everyone chill out.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose that makes me be on my toes as well. Like, how can I have to find a way now to start scoring bloody hat tricks in Toulouse?
Yeah, no easy thing. So in terms of coming off your wing, like in certain instances, it looks like, I guess, pre-programmed, off a line out, maybe that Hansen one being an example. How do you judge, say, more in open, unstructured play? Do you know what, I fancy a cut inside here? Is that just based on an instinct or a shout or years of experience, or maybe you don't know, maybe it's a gamble?
Yeah, it's an instinct a lot of the time, but a lot of the time you do your analysis on a team, and you see what kind of personnel are around certain areas of field, and you might go picking him, and you have to look their forwards get a bit of momentum? Can I take the momentum there? Or just looking for space in general and communicating with your 10, telling them where you are, or if you're playing with Johnny, he'll tell you where to go. So it's it's so much. It's probably a bit of everything, really. Like as you said there, the days of wingers just standing on the wing are gone. You know, a lot of them are turned into ball players now and creating so much. And they're expected to create as well in Andy Farrell's eyes, which is a great thing.
So would you spend the majority of your career in the mould of you're a winger, stay out wide, we'll get the ball to you, that's the deal?
Yeah, you hold them weight, or you might, there was a stage there we turned into rucking it quite a bit as well, like, which you still have to do. A winger, like in general, a winger wasn't just under certain coaches. A winger's job was stay on the wing, but when you look at the likes of James Lowe and a lot of these lads, wingers these days are quite big, and they're like a hybrid forward. You see wingers running off 9 a lot now and get momentum. So yeah, it's just about figuring out what your strengths are, like what Ballycoon and Conway and Zebo and James Lowe do. Jimmy O'Brien is different to what I'll do. It's about finding your strengths, and I've fallen into that trap of trying to copy fellas for years. So it's about, I suppose, getting better.
Heineken Champions Cup very much upon us. You're in the midst of this second leg tie with Exeter. So 13 points to 8, a deficit going into Thomond on Saturday. Munster were down 6-7 first teamers through one way or another ahead of the game last week, and 10-0 down at half time. It was looking a touch iffy. In the end, 5-point deficit, albeit against 13 men for the last 15 minutes. So there's kind of lots of mitigation there on both sides. How did you feel on the flight home thinking about the game?
Yeah, it was as you said there. It was a completely weird game, especially in the first half. We just didn't turn up at all. First half, physically, we didn't turn up.
Can I interrupt you in that one? How does that happen? You might, like, all the prep, all the build up, knockout season building up to this. 20 minutes in, you must be thinking, how does this happen?
Yeah, I'd love to know. Yeah, it'd be great if we could figure it out. Yeah, it's just certain lads, I suppose. I don't know if it's pressure. If lads were, I think I was certainly a small bit too relaxed. But then you look across the room and some fellas like crippled with nerves. But I suppose lose, like Jack was unbelievable the weekend leading the team. When you look at, we lost a lot of, I suppose if you want to call them first team players, or missing a lot of lads, like that would have an effect. And there's only so much like Jack and the leaders can say, like, it's easier when it's a full strength team that fellas can figure out in their own heads. But it was just the basics for us, the ruck, physicality, left us down, because when we did up it in the second half, we did have Exeter under pressure. We kind of, suppose we started poorly, and again we could have lost by 30, and again we could have won by 30 at times, like, so yeah, just we went back to basics now this week and concentrate on Exeter, they're the physical side, or forwards, they're all about momentum, great backline. So yeah, it's going to be another interesting one, and we can't have the start we had last Saturday, this Saturday.
You made a great tackle on Ollie Woodburn, and you've talked in the book, for instance, and elsewhere, that you've really prided yourself on your defensive reads, and you come to kind of respect the craft of defence. So I suspect you do enjoy those moments, and they are big moments. I mean, that is kind of a tide-changing tackle. So you spotted the danger quite early there, I would think. Yeah,
they were breaking us quite a bit on that move. Every time they ran it against us, and just reading Mike Haley, really, like, if he has to close, then you get on your bike. The short hog try, I reckon it was a small bit too narrow, that maybe if I was a couple of steps more over, that potentially would have got him, but he's quick. So I made sure that we're kind of catching us on the edge a small bit, that our blind wingers need to work that small bit harder to, I suppose, give Mike confidence. And then, covering tackle as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Do
yeah,
you
it was great.
do sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, no, it was great work out Chris Farrell as well. Like who defending the midfield and managed to get back there as well. Like so. It was good to add his 110, 12 kg to the collision.
It seems every game now there's a sending off or certainly a sin binning. So you had 13 men for the last quarter. Do you do much work as a group on what do we do against 14 and what do we do even against 13? Because I'm sure you would have had the sense when you saw 2 in the sin bin, geez, if we just put the ball through the hands here and stretch them, we'll get in. And
Yeah.
it's often not proving as easy to do that as it sounds in theory.
Yeah, you know yourself when how many teams in the past have gone on to 14 men and, they just up their performance, and that was been the frustration thing about it. When next year we're down to 14 and 13, we created so much and we didn't take them chances. We could have walked in a couple of times, but for whatever reason, the ball didn't come. I suppose ourselves is if we go down to 14 or 13, we do practice different scenarios like midfield scrums and where personnel would be, or if one hooker was injured, another hooker was sin binned, who throws in the line out and all that. So you kind of,
Yeah,
as you say, there's knockout stage rugby now, and you have to cover everything, even though it might look a small bit negative. But that sense of calm. Then something did happen the weekend. You're like, we did this during the week, so you can get on with it.
what's Graham Rowntree going to be like as a head coach?
Yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting. Graham, he's got a phenomenal relationship with all of us. He's a great man. So he's come from a club that is quite like Munster, in Leicester. He knows what Munster's about. He's played against them for years. He knows what the supporters are about. Since he's come over, he's indulged himself in Limerick culture and Munster culture. He'd be down in West Clare and Lahinch and Kilkee and all these places. He's indulged and he loves it. That's the thing, and he loves the people, and the people love him as well. Because he's a humble, passionate lad as well.
Are you a touch frustrated with how it's gone over the last 6, 7, 8 years with regard to the lack of stability, the turnover of coaches, betting in a new coaching ticket, then off again, and then new coaching ticket, and you look over up the road, Leinster have had 2 coaches have brought them through a decade effectively. Peter Manny said the other week, not ideal, which seemed like a very, very polite way, I think, of how he might put it. Otherwise, I suspect it can't be what you would have wanted for your, this part of your career, these peak years.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's been, as Pete said, it hasn't been ideal. Like
No.
the amount of staff we've gone through. Every second year trying to learn a whole new philosophy or something different. It is tough to do, and across any kind of sport, there isn't too many new coaches that comes in and it clicks straight away either. It takes a year or two to embed their philosophy and understand the players and get the whole dynamic right. It's quite frustrating, but that's sport for you.
Yeah, professional sport, I guess.
Yeah.
Johan van Graan gets a good offer. He's entitled to look after his family, and there's no
Yeah.
loyalty beyond contract,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
How's your body feeling? Like, do you? A last question. I hate to use the R word or to because it's ageism, and you'll be sick of these kind of questions. Does a season like this with the stop-start nature of things and the soft tissue injuries, do they make you think more, oh geez, maybe the body's giving me signs here more than it might when you were 28 and having exactly the same injuries, or how are you feeling?
Yeah, obviously it's just natural when you get older. It's you're going to feel a lot more sore or stiffer. The hamstring that happened back in February was, I suppose, like, it wasn't something that was always niggling. It was just a thing that happened in a run. The hamstring. So, I've cleared up a lot of niggles. That's the thing. But yeah, the body's in a good place now at the moment. It is in a very good place, and obviously I'm out of contract at the end of the season, and I suppose I'll just have to keep my cards close to my chest for that one, Joe, if you don't mind me.
No, that's fair. Listen, absolutely. Listen, once you're able to breathe again playing rugby, I think you're...
It makes it a lot easier, yeah.
I'm sure it does. Thanks so much for coming on. So again, just to give it a mention, Keith Earls, he's on today because at the Moyross Youth Academy, they're launching the McDonald's Youth Opportunity Ireland programme. So this is a 2-year employment and skills partnership with the Irish Youth Foundation, and right across the country, different youth organisations giving specialised training for 2,000 young people. And so Moyross is one of those areas where that's happening. So a great initiative. Very best of luck at the weekend on Saturday. Keith Earls, thanks so much.
Cheers. Thanks, Joe.